Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And filling in for Terry Stiles, I'm Julie Hogan. In this week's news, what were the results of our local November 8th general election? And a local resident surprises a burglar in her home.
Stay tuned, learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. I bet most of you are relieved that the general election is over, right? For most of the day, November 8th, voting lines remained heavy at the Oxford precincts. You know by now Donald Trump will be our next president over Hillary Clinton. Now for the local Oxford ballot. All school millages were passed and approved, and Parks and Recreation bond issue was endorsed. Village Council members will see changes in the board. Eric Dolan, David Paley, and Tom Kennis will be seated along with unopposed existing term members Sue Bassardit and Maureen Helmuth. Rose Bema was narrowly defeated for council. All new 6 amendments to the village charter were passed by residents, and Oakland County Commissioner Mike Spiz was reelected for another term. John Riley was elected to the 46th District State House of Representatives, taking Brad Jacobs' seat, which his term limitation didn't allow him to run.
After running errands, a local 81-year-old woman came face to face with a burglar in her home. The woman, who lives on Seymour Lake Road near Sanders Road, told police she was startled to find a young white man described as being in his 20s, 5 foot 8 inches tall with short dark hair, rummaging through her belongings. The man was wearing blue jeans and a blue short-sleeved t-shirt. When the thief saw the homeowner, he made a frantic escape through the house and out the back door. Neighbors told police they saw a suspicious white female, about 20 years old, slim in build and approximately 5'7", who was lurking in the victim's backyard. The woman was wearing a bright yellow jacket and dark-colored pants and believed to be an accomplice. Police found a broken window in the garage where they believe the thief successfully gained entry. Police would like your help. Anyone with information leading to an arrest of these 2 suspects, please call the Oakland County Sheriff at 248-989-3077.
2 young hunters were cited for illegally killing a federally protected sandhill crane and of shooting 18 ducks and other birds in Addison Township, far over the legal limit. The 19-year-old Lapeer man and an 18-year-old Oxford man were arraigned in district court on multiple misdemeanor charges. In addition to the 18-year-old will be facing charges for possession of marijuana and drug equipment. Police found a case containing 3 jars of marijuana, a pipe, rolling paper, and a lighter. If convicted, the young men could face up to 90 days in jail and fines of up to $500 per bird.
Suspected arson is believed to be the cause of a fire in a home at Hidden Lake Estates in Addison Township. Fire Chief Jerry Morawski told reporters his firefighters quickly put out the fire. However, he noticed something highly unusual about the fire pattern. Apparently, the fire was active in 3 different locations in the manufactured home. In an effort to determine the fire's cause, Chief Morawski forwarded the case to the Oakland County Sheriff's Fire Investigation Unit for further investigation.
The scheduled date for Falling Down Beer Company to start brewing and pouring its product is February 2017. Co-owners George Lang and Mark Larson began installing 12 large brewing tanks into the 14 North Washington Street Oxford Village location. All of the tanks are manufactured in Orion Township, and the owners have said they will try to purchase everything for the operation right there in the state of Michigan. And the 2 entrepreneurs have a brewing location in Warren, Michigan, in case you weren't aware, and the products there produce over 400 barrels per year. However, they say the Oxford location will triple that number here. They say one of the main reasons for making their product in Oxford is due to Oxford's pure water quality. Excellent water.
Oxford residents Daryl and Carla Lambertson celebrated their 50th anniversary on November 12, 2016. The 2 actually met in kindergarten at Daniel Axford Elementary. She remembered being teased by Darrell, and as teens, acknowledged she was in love with Darrell. Both are graduates of Oxford High School, class of 1963, and they were married in 1966 at the Holy Cross Lutheran Church in Oxford. After Darrell's time served in the U.S. Air Force, they settled into a home on Moyer Street, where they lived for 45 years. Darrell worked for General Motors, where he became an electrician, and Carla became a stay-at-home mom. They have 2 children, a son and a daughter. Both are now retired, but if you would like to congratulate the couple, they can be found often as volunteers at the Northeast Historical Museum in the heart of downtown Oxford. Happy anniversary.
Residents should continue to watch out. Some thief could be stealing your identity. A woman living in Dunlop Road in Oxford Township told police a collection agency from AT&T said she owed $1,100. She told the company that she didn't owe them the money, and after a quick check of her account, it was determined the charges were made to a woman's account by a man with addresses in Redford, Michigan and in Garden City, Michigan. A stolen identity complaint was filed by the victim, and police provided a theft package and a copy of the police report to be sent to AT&T.
An officer noticed a briefcase lying alongside of Wood Trail Drive in Oxford Township. The case was damaged, as if it may have been tossed from a speeding vehicle. Alongside the briefcase were scattered papers and debris. The police officers searched the items on the ground and found mailing labels identifying the possible owner. As it turned out, the briefcase was one stolen from an unlocked pickup truck about a week ago. The owner, who reported the theft, lives on Wood Trail Drive, and he identified the item. The briefcase reportedly contained several expensive wristwatches. They, of course, were nowhere to be found. The case was fingerprinted and held as evidence. The investigation remains open.
An Oxford woman came home after a Halloween party, placed her clothes in a dryer downstairs, started the dryer, and then went to bed upstairs. She was awakened by a strong odor of smoke. She called the Oxford Fire Department, who arrived and quickly put out the fire. Firemen who extinguished the fire spotted something unusual, a large pack of marijuana and what appeared to be a marijuana growing room in the basement. The fire chief immediately notified the Oakland County Sheriff's Narcotics Department, and the investigation continues.
That's Oxford News this week. If you would like to learn more about these stories and others, stop by your local store and pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper. Or, better yet, catch us right here on OCTV, Charter 191, and AT&T Channel 99.
Coming up next on OCTV, Oxford Sports with Jamie Hughes, and also catch Oxford School News with John Ochins. And don't miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Julie Hogan. This is Oxford News This Week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, did you see it? On Monday, November 14th, the full moon was the closest to Earth that it has been in nearly 70 years. This event, sometimes called a supermoon, means the moon was a bit bigger and brighter than it normally appears. It was worth checking it out, but scientists say it might not have looked all that different from your average full moon. Full moons happen when the sun, the Earth, and moon are lined up in a row, a phenomenon called syzygy. A full moon is super when the moon is at the point in its elliptical orbit when it's at its perigee, or its closest point to the Earth. That gives the supermoons the fanciful name perigee syzygy. This particular supermoon is really a superlative one. At 3:09 Eastern Standard Time on Monday, the moon was 221,526 miles from Earth, the closest it has come since 1948. It won't be that close again until November of 2034. Supermoons are typically about 30% larger in area and 30% brighter than the full moons that happen when the moon is at its furthest point. But this difference might be hard to tell just by looking, especially when the moon is high in the sky. Although the moon is responsible for the Earth's tides, the effect of the supermoon on the Earth are minor. We're also in a run of supermoons. There was one on October 16th, and there will be another one on December 14th. So, if it's cloudy this month, you won't have to wait long to see another one. Oh, and if you were looking at that really, really big moon on the horizon, that was just a little trick your brain was playing on you. Sorry. And still in space, coming in 2019, the solar system in 3D. A pair of telescopes could soon bring celestial sights to life in three-dimensional images and movies for the first time. When the James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST, begins science operations in 2019, it will join the 26-year-old Hubble telescope scheduled to retire in 2021. The two will be able to act as a giant pair of eyes. Hubble is in the near-Earth orbit, and JWST will reside 1.5 million kilometers away. Such a wide separation means that pointing them at the same object in the solar system will create a sense of depth perceptible to the human eye. Joel Green at the Space Telescope Science Institute in Baltimore, Maryland, analyzed the telescope's joint capabilities to model the amazing sights they might see, such as atmospheric dust drifting across Mars. The most exciting prospects might be rapidly changing phenomena such as the storms on Jupiter, impacts on rocky worlds, or comet emissions. It will also be cool. I'm really excited to see Saturn's rings pop out of the page, Green says. Wow. Well, our next story, back on Earth, it's like Jekyll and Hyde. One moment the skin bacteria are harmless, the next they are causing a full-on spotty outbreak. Now researchers have discovered why this happens, a breakthrough that could yield new acne treatments. Richard Gallo at the University of California, San Diego, and his colleagues have discovered that a type of harmless bacterium that lives on the surface of the skin can turn nasty, triggering inflammation and zits when it finds itself trapped in airless conditions like those found in hair follicles. The airless environment causes the bacterium Propionibacterium acnes to return sebum, an oily substance that accumulates in follicles, into fatty acids. These subsequently deactivate enzymes that normally act as a brake on inflammation. Once that brake is off, cascades of chemicals are produced by follicle skin cells, leading to the type of inflammation that causes acne. And this could explain why teenagers are so prone to outbreaks. Surges in hormones during puberty cause an increase in sebum, which then provides more fodder for the bacteria to create fatty acids. Unfortunately, we can't just wash this bacteria away because it forms clumps that help anchor it to the skin. Instead, Gallo hopes to either inhibit the fatty acids or block their impact on the skin. We're working on how to do this. If we get lucky, it could lead to new medications in 2 to 5 years, and I'm sure those teenagers can't wait. And did you hear about this one, about the creature with 414 legs, 200 poison glands, and 4 penises? It's not a joke. A new species of millipede, Ilac metabini, discovered in Sequoia National Park in California, has just these anatomical features. A single specimen of its relative, the Ilac mepelnepes, holds the world record for having the greatest number of legs, 750. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
I'm John Ochins, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcats School Update. If you're like most of us, you're probably still trying to catch up on your sleep after the big election. There's some good news for our district out of it. First, we have filled 3 four-year school board slots. Dan D'Alessandro, the current board president, was reelected. Joining him are Tom Donnelly and Heather Schaefer, rounding out the 3 positions. Also, 2 important millage proposals were passed, ensuring the continuation of all of our district programs. Obviously, Superintendent Tim Throne was pleased.
Awesome win for Team O. Couldn't be more happy with voter turnout, obviously with the results. Even as of this morning, I don't think I've got all of the breakouts by every precinct, but at least the last I had seen, it was voted in favor of in all the precincts.
Yeah, it was pretty much an overwhelming positive vote.
Big win. Yep.
Once people understood what the heck was going on.
Yes, I think we did a much better job of educating the community, the voter, of what this millage was, what it isn't, and we did a much better job of, I think, explaining that, these dollars the state assumes you collect, and if you don't collect them, there's no way of recapturing them, and we would simply, have to look to try and make those types of cuts.
One of our most successful ventures as a district is the Oxford Virtual Academy. For one thing, it's almost totally responsible for the growth in students we've seen this year. We received word this week that the director, Andrew Hulbert, has decided to move on with his career.
Well, I knew when I came in 2011, 2012 that every time, or my typical process is to really get something up, going, and stable, and then I like to pass it off to somebody that can really put their own vision on it and give it a sense of stability. I tend to go fast and hard, and that can burn people out, and so I know my limits, and I know when it's time for me to stop pushing and let somebody else put their 2 cents in the mix.
I asked Andrew where this move is taking him.
I've joined a group that is going to start inner city programs for drop-in centers for really students that are in between the ages of 17 and 22 that have really struggled, that have dropped out of school, that have not found their way yet. We really want to dig back into those kids and give them a second chance, third chance, or even a fifth chance. We want to help as many kids as we can in the inner city where there hasn't been a whole lot of success for them.
Will this be concentrating mainly on Detroit, or?
All of Southeast Michigan. Our first one opens in December in Port Huron, and then we open one in Pontiac in May, and then Mount Clemens from there, and we have a whole list of other cities that we're hoping to get into, but we're really looking to partner with the local districts to say who are those kids that you've reached your end, you reached the end of your ropes, and send them our way, and we'd love to see if we can give it a shot.
This is not a totally brand new venture.
They've been doing it for 2 years. They got a couple locations on the west side of the state. They have nothing closer than Grand Rapids, and so we're partnering with some of the private corporations, some of the big vendor corporations to say, send us the kids that you guys just can't get a hold of.
So how did they find out about you?
In the last couple of years, I've spent a lot of time working with the state of Michigan, the Department of Ed, and I've gotten to know quite a few people that are like to push the envelope, like to push things, like to cause chaos in the traditional world. And I met a group that had the same passion, same beliefs that I do, and I was really excited to join their team, though very, very sad to leave my Oxford family.
While truly a respected professional, Andrew is one of those people who makes you feel welcome whenever you're in his presence. I will miss him. That's the Oxford School Update for this week. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story on November 9th, GM said it would cut more than 2,000 factory jobs because of slowing demand for cars, but plans to invest $900 million to prepare for new products at 3 plants. GM says it's eliminating the third shift at a Lansing, Michigan plant that makes the Chevrolet Camaro, Cadillac ATS, and Cadillac CTS. The move affects 810 hourly jobs and 29 salaried positions effective January 16th. The Chevrolet Cruze plant in Lordstown, Ohio will lose its third shift on January 23rd, and the cutback affects 1,202 hourly and 43 salaried jobs. GM had more than 100 days supply of all 4 nameplates as of November 1st, according to the Automotive News Data Center. A spokesman said the decision relates to the U.S. market shift towards light trucks and was not connected to the presidential election. Labor laws require companies to give at least 60 days notice for mass layoffs. At the same time, GM said planned investments at 3 plants will retain 784 jobs in Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana to work on undisclosed new products. The company said it will spend $668 million at its Toledo transmission operations plant in Ohio, $211 million at the Lansing plant that's losing its third shift, and $37 million at a metal casting plant in Bedford, Indiana. In our next story, the Walter P. Chrysler Museum near Detroit will close again on December 18th and be converted into additional office space for Fiat Chrysler automobiles, the automaker said November 4th. The three-story, 55,000 square foot museum in Auburn Hills, Michigan, opened in 1999 and now houses 65 classic and historic vehicles. The museum previously closed in 2012 when it had been operating at a deficit for at least 4 years. Officials struggled to raise 1/3 of the museum's annual operating budget through public support, which is required to remain a public charity and receive donations from other foundations. Chrysler purchased historic vehicles when the museum closed in 2012 to preserve the collection. After briefly opening to the public in June of 2016 for a couple of weekends each month, the museum will officially close its doors again after the weekend of December 17th and 18th. The automaker, in a statement, said the museum will be used for much-needed office space that will preserve the museum's historical vehicles and showcase them at internal and external events. Vehicles will also be displayed routinely at the nearby Chrysler Technology Center in Auburn Hills and other FCA sites in the U.S. An FCA spokeswoman told Automotive News that she did not know which department or personnel would be working in the building. Remaining public schedule for Walter P. Chrysler Museum will be November 19th and 20th at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and December 17th to 18th at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So if you want to see it, get out there now. In our next story, big sales of big SUVs lead to big profits. That simple formula has been a key for General Motors' success in 2016, and its October U.S. sales results suggest more potential for earnings growth in the fourth quarter. Sales surged 86% last month for the Chevrolet Suburban, 81% for the Tahoe, 61% for the GMC Yukon, and 27% for the Yukon XL. Taken together, that's a 69% gain for those four nameplates versus just a 4.9% increase for other mass-market full-size SUVs, according to the Automotive News Data Center. In addition, Cadillac Escalade rose 9.2%, while other large premium SUVs dropped 1.9%. As a result, GM accounted for 45% of all SUV sales last month, up from 35% in October of 2015 and 36% for the first 9 months of 2016. In contrast, Ford Motor Company with the Expedition and Lincoln Navigator saw its share fall to 6.85% in October from 8.7% a year before. That's an especially noteworthy increase because profit margins for large SUVs can easily top 20%, according to the Morgan Stanley analyst Adam Jonas. The average transaction price in October for Chevrolet and GMC's full-size SUVs was $56,630, GM said. That was below the year-to-date average of $59,100 because dealers are discounting 2016 vehicles to make room for the 2017 models. A big reason GM gained so much share in 1 month is that its fleet sales for Chevrolet and GMC SUVs nearly quadrupled to 8,957 units. A GM spokesman said that's largely due to sales of commercial vehicles and government buyers, which typically bring higher margins than rental company business. Fleet was only part of the story, though. Retail sales of the vehicles rose 33% to 18,815, representing 68% of their total volume. Wow. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Welcome to your weekly calendar of events, where we feature your weekly calendar of local Oxford and Addison community events, including charity special fundraisers and general community information. Now, if you or your organization would like help to get your message out to the public, contact us for detailed information at our studio phone number at 248-628-9658 or go to our website, occtv.org. Saturday, November 19th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sunday, November 20th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. St. Joseph School is having their 24th annual Holiday Happenings Craft Show. Now, this is the really big craft event of the year. Start your holiday season right, and with over 100 crafters, baked goods, door prizes, lunch raffles, and professional digital portraits with Santa on Sunday. There is a $2 admission and $15 charge for a picture with Santa. Remember, Saturday, November 19th and Sunday, November 20th. Friday, December 2nd, from 5:45 to 7:45, the annual Christmas in Oxford Soup and Sweet Stroll, sponsored by the Oxford Bank and hosted by Downtown Development Authority, DDA. We'll have wristbands available for purchase at the DDA booth in Centennial Park. The fee is only $10 per person, and with that purchase of a wristband, children under 12 are free. Stroll the streets, sampling soups and wonderful desserts created by participating restaurants. Stations will be set up outside, so as you meander down the Washington Street Avenue, you will be invited to warm yourself with a delicious cup of soup and check out Christmas gift ideas at the many participating stores. In addition, the children will enjoy meeting Santa, tree lighting, school choirs, and the petting farm is always a big hit. Don't forget, that's December 2nd, downtown Oxford. Saturday, December 3rd, starting at 2 p.m., the Oxford Chamber of Commerce is proud to host the annual Oxford Christmas Parade. Festivals or festivities will start right after the parade, and there will be live reindeer in Centennial Park, vendors, music, crafts, hot cocoa, and cookies, and let's not forget Santa and Mrs. Claus will be there for all the little children. Don't forget the date, Saturday, December 3rd, 2 p.m. Oakland Family Services is a non-profit human services agency which provides foster care and adoption services to children 5 to 18 years of age. There is an urgent need for more individuals who are willing to open their homes for these children. Intensive training and ongoing support is provided. Just call 248-858-7766, extension 236 for more information. You won't be sorry you did. Starting a new business or want to grow your business? The Oxford Chamber of Commerce is here to help you grow and sustain your business through networking events, advertising, and much, much more. As a member, you will have every opportunity to increase your visibility and make connections and learn things that may just help you run your business a little more profitably. At the same time, you will be helping to strengthen our community. For more information on how you can become a member of the Oxford Chamber of Commerce, contact Nicole Sturrett, Chamber Director, at 248-628-0410, or go to the Chamber website, info@oxfordchamber.net. If you own a business, belong to an organization, or you are a local resident wishing to show your support for our school programs, music concerts, or any of the many programs broadcast by OCTV, you could become a sponsor or an underwriter for the station. Promotional spot would be created just for you and a continual recognition given to you by our broadcast announcers. It's easy and it's quite inexpensive. For more information, contact our TV station manager, William Service, at 248-628-9658, or you can send a message of interest to his email address, manager@occtv.org. Now, we at Oxford Community TV would like our television viewing public to learn more about your club or organization's special upcoming events, so if you would like to get your special event mentioned on our show, call us at 248-628-9658, or again, go to our website, occtv.org. Just one final reminder, you can locate our OCTV program schedule by going to our website, occtv.org, and clicking on Schedule. There you will find a list of all OCTV programs, dates, and times. And one program I highly recommend is Bill Service, who always has interesting local stories and interviews on his Our Community Access program. Just check it out. This is Oxford Community Television, OCTV. I'm your host, Elgin Nichols. We invite you to join us again next time for your weekly calendar of events.